Alright, hey guys, it's Noah here with Custom RC Mods. Thanks for tuning in to another video on the channel. Today we've got the Traxxas Rustler given to me by BS Projects Inc. Over on the flight test forums. Thank you so much. Really means a lot. I'm going to get some good use out of this thing, obviously. So yeah, you'll see it on the channel here, but essentially we got to get this thing back up and running before obviously we can use it. So I'm going to start off with a full rebuild of this car, and I'll get into what that entitles for the future videos in a second. But if you guys didn't know, cars were my initial kind of gateway into this awesome hobby, and that started off with the Traxxas Stampede back in the late, I think it was 2009 or 2010 that I got my first Traxxas Stampede. I later converted that into a Traxxas Rustler, so this platform I have a lot of experience with. I held on to that thing for like 6 or 7 years before I sold it, and I got a few other cars, Traxxas Slash 4x4, Losi Mini AT. Then I sold those and got into planes, and as you can see, it's kind of spiraled out of control from there in a good way. But yeah, I'm really happy that this hobby's come full circle for me, and I'm really excited to see where this leads into for the future, because obviously there's a lot of things that can happen here. Like I said, I really do know my way around these platforms, so I'll be able to put some upgrades on this thing, hopefully have a pretty screaming fast car. Initially, when I was into this, I actually only used like nickel metal batteries like this one has right here, but now I have some lipos. This one was out of my Slash and I held on to it, so we got a big lipo. Of course, we have some 3-cell 2200s as well we can run in parallel, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this thing works on lipo with a brushless system, obviously, things like that. But we got to put those upgrades in first, and before that we have to actually go ahead and rebuild this car and check the condition of it, because this is obviously not in completely perfect condition. The body's actually not looking too bad. It's pretty beat up, but that's as expected for how old this thing is. The model here is a brushed, not waterproof XL5 version. You can see that with the yellow XL5 speed controller right there on top. Basically, that is saying that we're not waterproof here. Of course, we have the same AM radio that my original Stampede came with. So yeah, it's kind of nostalgic there holding this. I had a lot of memories with holding this radio, crashing the car, stuff like that. One thing I did point out in the original unboxing video is that we have a newer Titan 12-turn 550 size motor right here. You can see that there's just a sticker right here. It's actually flush with the outside of the can, which is interesting. There was a heat sink on the original Titans that even mine came with. So I can see that looks like the previous owner went ahead and upgraded or replaced the motor a few times, but he did alert me that the motor probably is dead, so I'm not really too worried about that. I'm actually planning to upgrade to brushless anyway, like I said, so I'm excited for that. A few things that this did not come with that would have been kind of helpful, but of course I can get what I get. It did not come with a battery tie down that comes between these two posts right here. It did not come with an antenna tube, but I can just use a straw or something for that instead. And it also didn't come with extra like body pins or anything like that, as well as like the tools and Allen keys and other little accessories that most Traxxas cars come with. Of course, it is used, so I can't really expect that. And I do actually have a few leftover parts and things like that in my toolbox. So hopefully we can get all this thing, rebuilt, and I'll be really happy with it. But my agenda for this, first off, today we have the disassembly. That's the video you're watching right now. We're going to be taking this thing apart, every single screw, and every little part's going to be coming off of this. I've got a little organizer right here so we can, keep all the screws organized so we can put them all back together with all the different individual parts. We're even going to get into the transmission case right here and take it all apart, re-grease all the gears. We're going to switch them out for metal gears. I believe there's plastic gears in here, which is one thing that's going to be limiting this thing as we get into brushless systems and things like that. I also have, after we get this all disassembled, the next video we're going to be going ahead and cleaning everything and getting it all ready to be put back together, and then after that we're going to rebuild it all with the upgraded parts. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to see where this build goes. I am going to have to go ahead and order some parts for this as well, like that battery tie-down, brushless system. I'm going to run some ball bearings all around this, the metal transmission gears, stuff like that. I'm going to stop rambling, and we're going to get into this rebuild. Like I said, every single screw is going to come out of this. So the nice thing about these brushed models is that they have the Phillips head screws, so I don't have to mess around with Allen keys and stuff like that. I can just simply go to a screw gun. You want to make sure you use low speed on this so you don't, rip off the threads on these, because I've done that before time and time again. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to it. I'm going to hang you guys up there at the time lapse, and we are going to get to disassembling this thing. I'll check in with you when it's all done. Alright guys, so it's well under an hour after we initially started this project, and as you can see, the Rustler is completely disassembled, and every single screw that can be extracted from this has been taken out and parted out into this organizer right here. So hopefully we don't lose any of these little pieces, or hopefully I don't forget how that go all back together, because that could be pretty bad in the long run. But hey, I think it's going to all work out and be good, and of course that will let me get the best deep cleaning on this. And you've seen I went as far as taking apart the diff gear in the transmission, as well as taking apart my shock bodies in here as well. Every little piece has been taken apart for the best cleaning results possible as well. So let's just go through a few things that I noted when I was taking this apart. There are a few places where the previous owner maybe made some repairs in a pinch, or had some things that almost broke that didn't quite completely break off, that we're going to have to replace on this. But overall it's in really good condition. One thing I did notice, and that's really common on these two-wheel drive Traxxas models, is that the kingpins for the steering is bent. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out right here. You can see that one's less bent than the other one was, but it's bent, and that makes it so that the front axle carrier cannot move back and forth with the steering. It's putting a lot of extra tax on the servo just to move the steering back and forth. So I'm going to upgrade my caster blocks as well, because this one right here, as you can see, is kind of bent outward, and it's going to snap the first time I kind of run into a curb or hit a hard bump or anything like that, and that's not going to be good at all. But other than that, for the front, I think that's pretty good. One thing that was a little bit disappointing is on these front axle carriers, and the rear ones for that matter, they're all running smaller bushings. So it's smaller than the 5x11x4 standard size bearings and bushings that the newer Stampedes and Rustlers run, which are like these that are found in the transmission right here. These need to be replaced in order to run bearings. So I'm going to be upgrading 2 ball bearings all the way around on this thing. So we need to go ahead and upgrade the axle carriers to the more recent models, as well as I'm probably going to get the RPM, really tough plastic kind. So yeah, that's a little bit disappointing, but I was happy to see the transmission was running on full ball bearings, which is something that I was a little bit afraid of, because of course you can't run brushless really without bearings, without putting extra load on your motor. That was really unnecessary. The other thing that was also really nice is that my diff gear, although the actual body of the diff is plastic, the little planetary gears and the solar gears on the inside of this are metal, so all I have to do is go ahead and replace the diff body instead of all the little parts on the inside as well. So that's good, as well as my idler gear is the only other plastic gear right here, but the actual drive gear right here is a metal gear, so that's going to be nice. Just replace the idler gear and the diff body, and then we will be good to go. And then other thing that's really good is that I don't think the previous owner really ever took it apart that much, or really took any of the screws out, because all the washers were there, all the Teflon washers and the metal washers, which is really nice. I know when I originally had my Stampede, when I took it apart, I never put those washers back on, because I didn't really understand what a washer did. But yeah, other than that, there's not a lot else to say about this. It really was pretty smooth. It's in really good working condition. In terms of my electronics, you can see this servo is really grimy. And I'm going to have to clean this one off, but I think it is in working condition. I am going to give it a little bit of a test with the servo tester here after this video. For my receiver, I'm probably going to go ahead and upgrade this, so I'm probably going to find a home to sell this on eBay for, because I don't really want to run 27 megahertz. When I ran it initially, there was so much interference, it was crazy, and although it has pretty good range, also this transmitter right here, let me pull it out, is beat up. You can see that there, the antenna piece right here has been ripped off the top part of the telescoping antenna. So that's unfortunate, but hey, also I did also notice that the bottom springs in the battery compartment are also rusted, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm not really going to be using it anyway, and these probably won't sell for more than like $10 or so on eBay, but if someone else can find a good home for this, please let me know in the description or the comments below, and I'd be happy to give this to you if you're interested in that. And then the XL5 in the Titan system, I will be keeping around. I'm probably going to put an XT60 on here very soon, just to see if it works. But again, I'm going to be upgrading to brushless before we put all this back together. Maybe after, I'm not totally sure, but pretty soon. So I'm going to put a brushless system on order, because there's not really much use in a brushless age to be running these older brush systems right here. As well as the nickel metal battery, I'm probably going to be using it for bench testing, because I do have that 2S LiPo that we talked about in the very beginning of this. Other than that, that's pretty much it for my upgrades here. I've got a few more things coming down the pipe. I'm going to order them, and hopefully they'll be ready to be installed, so we can get this car all back together. So yeah, I'm really excited about the future of this Rustler on the channel. We're going to be doing some durability mods and things like that as we bash this and break it. But stay tuned for more airplane videos, of course, too, because this is going to be put on hold while we wait for my orders to come in for the upgrade parts on this. So yeah, the next video with this will be filmed in a few days. That is the deep cleaning of all the different parts. I'll show you how I do that, and we're going to get this thing looking hopefully good as new, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you guys like this content, please go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below so I can give you guys some more surface RC content, and I'll keep you guys in the loop over on Instagram if you are interested. Link in the description below is Custom RC Mods Official if you want to check out my account. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for the continued support. We're almost at 400 subscribers. Keep it up. We'll get there soon, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.